Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharane Nirvise Sasunivadi Paskicha Deshatani Jai Srila Prabhupada. We say our pranam mantra to Srila Prabhupada that includes the terms or the words Nirvisesha and Sunyavadi, which means that Prabhupada came to the West in order to destroy impersonalism and voidism, especially in relationship to the Vedas. So when one reads the Bhagavad Gita, which is also known as Gita Upanishad, one should arrive at the conclusion that Krishna is God. That's the purpose of the Vedas. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that, he spoke this knowledge to the sun god Vivaswan 2 million years earlier. But since then, it slowly came out of the human society, became extant, Krishna says, or extinct would be extant, meaning that the knowledge he spoke to Vivaswan is just gone. It's pretty much evaporated. And this, unfortunately, is the nature of the material world. Over time, things decrease. So even when Krishna comes and speaks his glories, or one of the Krishna's incarnations or expansions come, over time, that knowledge in human society becomes lost. It's not because Krishna is decreasing in his qualification or his transcendental ecstasies and qualities. It's that we, as human beings, are less and less able to hold the significance of the Lord's words in our heart from generation to generation. So he says in Bhagavad Gita that he's going to re-speak this basic and most important information to his friend and future disciple here, Arjuna. And so Prabhupada, the first thing that he did really was to establish and write the Bhagavad Gita as it is. And this is because he saw that everywhere, when I say everywhere, I mean especially people who are following Bhagavad Gita, but not Vaishnav Bhagavad Gita. These are people who misinterpreted the Bhagavad Gita. They don't see that or understand that Krishna is the goal of the Bhagavad Gita, and he is the transcendental Param Atman. He is a supreme personality of Godhead. The impersonalists love to demote or to decry or to diminish the role of Lord Krishna. They never ever give him superiority or supremacy. Always want to say that Bhagavad Gita is referring to the Atma in Krishna, whereas in Vaishnavism, we always say that Krishna and his Atma are the same. His body and soul are the same. And the impersonalist says, no, Krishna's body and soul are different. So this is what Prabhupada, a lot of his focus has been. It is to destroy, this false mission of so many persons who speak the Bhagavad Gita, who accept the Bhagavad Gita, but who do not accept the supremacy of Lord Krishna. And so today, we have, and this is something I would like to do on a more daily basis, because I think it's very, very important for people who read Bhagavad Gita on this planet. It is a great disservice for them to hear discourses from so-called teachers who diminish the supremacy of Lord Krishna. That will hurt your ear, hurt your heart, hurt your mind. And these people who do that, they do that in order to further their own agenda, which is Atma realization, not Paramatma realization, but Atma realization, which is incomplete realization of the Absolute. And so to get to that Atma realization, they literally have to step on the head of Paramatma, Krishna, and say, no, it's not Paramatma, Krishna is just Atma. In this way, they think that they are describing and explaining the Bhagavad Gita, which is, however, it is only the half of the truth. It's like giving a half a cow. A half a cow cannot deliver any milk. You need the whole cow. And this is what Srila Prabhupada does. He gives the whole cow. And by taking the words of Srila Prabhupada, one tastes the absolute, literally can taste the nectar of Krishna consciousness. Whereas in the impersonal description of Bhagavad Gita, there is no nectar to taste at all. All they're trying to do is feel some relief from suffering. The three modes of material nature. They're trying to find some relief from bodily identification. They don't know that by becoming a devotee of Lord Krishna, accepting the supremacy of the Lord, which is right there in the Bhagavad Gita, automatically, immediately, and more completely, one experiences freedom from the three modes of material nature. It is not done separately. You don't have to go after Atma realization to become free from the three modes of material nature. In fact, trying for this self-realization without Krishna consciousness is never going to happen, because the Atma has no qualities in and of itself. It's neutral. It's consciousness. It's pure soul. One requires Krishna to activate the soul, because without Krishna, there's no reason for the Atma's existence. Service to Krishna is the reason for the Atma's existence. If you don't recognize Krishna and his supremacy, then you don't have a reason for the Atma. And just trying to isolate the Atma by itself is a very bad experiment. And that's why you'll find, as you listen to these impersonalists, they focus mostly in the Bhagavad Gita on Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga, working without attachment to fruitive results, and understanding that the soul is different from the body. Those are the two things that impersonalists are concerned with. Those are minor points of the Bhagavad Gita, not major points. They have neatly cut away any of the words of Lord Krishna that refer to him as being God. They always try to explain it out some way, that Krishna is not God. He's just the Atma within. And then they like to bring out this karma and gyan. But Krishna himself says in Bhagavad Gita that the path of karma and gyan is very difficult. He says impersonal meditation is really hard. No one can stay in that Atma, real self, in that Atma space, because there's no qualities. There's nothing to meditate on. There's nothing. In fact, if we are Atma originally, and we became conditioned, why would I spend all of my effort on again coming to a position which I will again fall down from? What is it that kept me? What is it that will keep me from falling down again if I'm going to do the same thing over and over and over? So a wise person gives up this and looks into Paramatma realization. Because by Paramatma realization, one is able to act on the transcendental platform in service to the Paramatma, the supreme transcendence. That activity will keep one from falling down and taking birth again and again and again. So I really want to focus on the bigger picture. A lot of these impersonalists get really myopic, and they start talking about karma yoga, jnana yoga, and they just write Krishna off. They write him off. They only want to be involved in fact, I've seen some of these impersonalists, and they like to say, and when the illusion is gone, there's nothing else. Just remove the illusion. These are flowery words. Everyone would like to just remove the illusion. But no one's able to just remove the illusion. It would be so nice. Oh, my illusion's gone. And to convince themselves, they say it over and over and over again. There's no realization. They just say it. Remove the illusion. There's no taste. There's no pleasure. There's no realization. It's just word jugglery. So today, I want to share with you another bogus yogi as she attempts to explain the Bhagavad Gita, and we will use this as a learning mechanism. And I will comment on some of her words. Let me go back a little bit here. Okay. So here, we're going through her video, and this verse came up. So let me have you listen to this, and then we will comment.
Imparted it to Ikshvaka. Vivasvan is the sun god. Manu is considered as the first human being, and Ikshvaku belong to the same kula, the same family as Ram. So now what he is doing is, he is detailing how the wisdom started. When he says that I told this imperishable yoga to Vivasvan, it is not Krishna, obviously, because Vivasvan lived much before Krishna did. What he means is, when he says I, he means Atman. So anybody who had realized Atman, the person who had realized Atman, taught it to Vivasvan, Vivasvan taught it to Manu, and Manu gave it to Ikshvaku.
Excuse me? You just said that anyone could have taught it to Vivasvan? God, how demeaning you are to Lord Krishna. Who are you? And where does your guru say that? And where did anyone come up with that false notion that anyone could have spoken to Vivasvan? You're saying Krishna, like you're saying that Krishna spoke way beyond his means by making that statement? Excuse me? No, that's not what Krishna said. Try to understand the words of the Lord. They're so clear. You're making them unclear. Krishna said, I spoke this to Vivasvan. You're saying that's not possible because Vivasvan is older than Krishna? The whole point of the Gita is to understand that Krishna is the oldest living entity, but he has an ever-fresh, youthful body. He's divinely transcendental. That's what he's trying to say there. Arjuna, he says, Arjuna, the difference between you and me is that we've both taken many births, but I remember them all and you haven't. Hello? There's a point by the Lord saying this. When he tells Arjuna, I spoke this to Vivasvan 2 million years ago. Yes, he's telling Arjuna, I was around over 2 million years ago. And here I am today in front of you, looking like a young man. But this woman, this so-called teacher of the Bhagavad Gita, she's going, no, Vivasvan's older, so Krishna is not that old. He couldn't have talked to Vivasvan because he's a young boy. He's making it up. He's a little loony. It's the Atma in Krishna that's eternal, not Krishna. Do you see how they do this? They are so infatuated with this Atma realization, which in essence means all of us are equal. We're all Brahman, we're all Atma. There's no distinctions, and they love this universality. We're all one, we're all the same. There's no distinctions. They use that as a preaching mechanism for this universal religion. But I tell you clearly, that is not what Bhagavad Gita is teaching. And anyone who just meditates on their Atma themselves, they're not going anywhere. There's no Atma you have an Atma. Yes, you are the Atma, But you can't meditate upon yourself. You won't be able to. If it was possible, then why aren't you doing it? And that's why these people love word jugglery. Oh, I am doing it. I just don't realize I'm doing it. I am self-realized. I just don't realize I'm self-realized. Oh my God. And people fall for this crap all day. So the Atma, the way it's being described, has no qualities. So if the Atma has no qualities, you can't meditate on something with no qualities. You can't keep your mind focused on something with no qualities. You can pretend to do that. You can sit down and try to stop your mind, but you will not be successful. Not now, not in the future, not ever. And you will come back birth after birth after birth, stymied by that effort because it won't work. And that's not the purpose of the Vedas. You're teaching half a cow philosophy, and a half a cow can't yield any milk. The real meaning of Bhagavad Gita is Krishna's God. He has a transcendental body, a form that doesn't grow old because it is in charge of time, kala. It is not subject to time, space, or the three modes of material nature. And Krishna's form is the cause of all causes. Sarva karana karanam. Lord Brahma, the first created being in this universe, he says, Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Adi Purush. Krishna is Adi Purush. He's got a transcendental body that never diminishes. Our Lord Brahma says this. He is good evidence. He's seen Garbhodak Vishnu. He's seen Krishna. We require to hear from great souls like Lord Brahma, who is God. And here Krishna himself is confirming he's God. God means form, body, person. Krishna is one, Svayam Bhagavan, but in his Paramatma feature, he expands into the heart of all living beings. And by doing that, it does not diminish him. Everything about Krishna is achintya, inconceivable. And until we accept that about our Lord Krishna, your meditation efforts will be met with failure. If you want to go about in illusion, telling everyone, I'm liberated, you're liberated, peace be with you. It's all an illusion. It's all word jugglery. It's all mental. Good luck. Because you will achieve nothing by that effort. No fruit, no nectar, no understanding, no direct knowledge. It's just mental. And the proof is people who think that they are saintly, who espouse this impersonal philosophy, they lack real happiness. They're only pretending. Don't be one of those people. Reject anyone who says that Krishna is not God. Reject anyone who minimizes Krishna's position. And in your own mind, kick out this impersonalism, this Atma realization, kick it out. Hear about Krishna's glories over and over. It will satisfy your heart. And as your heart becomes transcendently satisfied, you will have no desire for this dry, speculative philosophy that Atma realization is superior. It won't hold a place in your heart. Bhakti will satisfy. Hearing Krishna's glories is completely satisfying, not just to the individual, ourself, but to all people, all time, all place. The world needs to hear the glories of God, because that will bring happiness and peace into the heart of all living beings, automatically satisfying the mind and the intelligence and the body, cleansing, purifying even the very body by hearing the glories of Krishna. Whereas anything else will not. That is the meaning of God consciousness. God is one, his glories are superior to ours, and his subject matter, the activities of the Lord, his glories is wealth, faith, fame, strength, knowledge, renunciation, wisdom. Those 6 glories are unlimited in Krishna's character. And to hear about them, to glorify Krishna's body, his beauty, what he wears, the peacock on his head, the playing of the flute, how he likes tending the cows, his mother, his father, descriptions of Goloka. Every single detail in relation to Krishna is extremely pleasurable. One item in relation to Krishna is more pleasurable than unlimited Atma realization. This qualityless Atma realization, which these bogus yogis seek, have no place even to the tiniest feather on Krishna's peacock crown. There's more pleasure in that. So when we give up the false interpretation of the Bhagavad Gita, karma and jnana as being the goal, and we accept Paramatma Bhagavan Swayam Bhagavan Bhakti as the actual purpose of the Bhagavad Gita, then we can begin with earnest our true purpose in life. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.